Hey guys, welcome back to the random opening series. Last episode we just played on the 6 God account again. So I hope you guys enjoyed that episode of a bit of nostalgia, a bit of kind of back to the casual games almost. So here we go. We're gonna start again and generate a number. I just opened this up so that 4 doesn't really mean anything, and now we get 4. All right. So, we play the mini Chinese. Alright. And, so here we go. Alright, here we go. Then I almost missed the recording because, it was just going too fast. I get invited someone, and someone invites me. So I'm in all these rooms trying to get a game going. But, mini Chinese. So, mini Chinese opening is relatively fast-paced opening. It was so popular back in the day. Okay, I say back in the day, meaning like probably like 5 years ago. So okay, I'm gonna do the double approach this time. I'm kind of like really taking this as a good chance to go back to some like of the older ways of playing, because like nowadays nobody would play this. Everyone would like, or actually you wouldn't even approach. So actually what White did in this game was correct. You should play the tiger's mouth and capture that stone on that side. It's actually bigger than blocking, and also you should never block, because when black extends back, locally the shape is really bad. Unless White wants to Hane and play the tiger's mouth, but that's a different story. So White should definitely not wedge and connect and play that variation. What's that? Do I just attach and tiger's mouth? I remember that you can't do this. So, yeah. Usually you play Kasumi in the other night move, but maybe he's got something up his sleeves with that. No, I don't need to push. I can just connect directly, because I can get that push whenever. So that shouldn't matter too much. I think I will capture that then. It's an interesting change in direction. I wanted to leave this side because I think I could clamp. I think that's a good possibility, and I think I can do that now actually. So I'm going to try this. If White descends and black cuts, there is no like, there's anything White can do other than to crawl. And also because of this side, when we reach here, White's going to be in big trouble. He jumped. So after I push, I can Atari. And I think this is going to end up in a whole bunch of connecting dies, actually. Oh, but he can push up, and I might have something here. So I do have to be careful about that, but it is quite tempting to... this is just a whole bunch of connecting dies here. So we'll see if he comes back and captures. Okay, I do have a weakness in the center though, and so I can't actually do the bunch of connecting dies, but I think I'm pretty satisfied in pressing white down on this side. So that clamp was actually a pretty good tsuji. I'm really happy with this result. So now, if he doesn't play here, I can throw in. So he's going to have to play it here and descend to make sure he doesn't get captured. Because after throwing and Hane, if he connects, I connect. So something will get captured there. So now, should I just let him off the hook, or should I keep going? And the easy thing to do is just to extend, and then live. And another way to do it is to Atari. I think might be pushing it too far with that, but yeah. After Atari, this stone becomes heavy, so white can actually get another Atari, or something equivalent to that. So then when white goes into the corner, that's going to be very severe. So I'm just going to go with the safer option. But remember, this was white's side, so I definitely lost quite a bit here on the left side. So I think what white should have done is probably do a pincer instead, rather than the knight's move here. Okay, so white has actually just under 10 points. I'm really going with like all the moves before AIs. So that's another. He really likes nice moves into the center. I'm not sure what's up with that. But yeah, after that I can come back to attack this group. I'm trying to think about whether I want that or not. I don't think I need that. Yeah, so I think he's just trying to live now, which is a really good thing for black. He's going to try to cut from this side now. Interesting. So if I haunt it now, actually he can cut, but I think this is a vital point since I can Atari out in the middle. So he can't actually block there. So I get to get a lot of benefit in the upper right corner. And actually this is not alive completely right now. So even without like peeping here, if I just Hana and extend, with a safer connection on this side, white's going to have to protect that group again. So I'm just going to treat that as a sente move, and white's going to have to play a move to live. And so he actually can't put that much pressure
Yoyomi now starts.
on my middle group. I have a lot of liberties, so I wouldn't have to worry about any potential liberty races. So right now this is a vital point. So right now I'm playing these moves kind of quickly because I'm anticipating what my opponent's going to do. So I think I get a quick move here. Or not, I actually got cut there. So I actually needed to protect. Okay, so I'm just gonna jump out here. White's pretty weak still on that side, so after black jumps out here, white's gonna have to protect all these series of cuts. And so I'm not really too worried about white trying to enclose any of my groups. And I don't think he realized that the upper group is actually dead. And he keeps ignoring. So actually, this cut is pretty like a more pretty obvious place, I think. I'm just gonna hard and push. If I do the placement, after he pushes, I have to extend. Oh no, I can actually just push. Actually, yeah. I didn't actually need this. So, or I can play here directly, because if he Ataris, I can actually hone it back. And so he's actually trying to get rid of my eyes, but he doesn't realize that this group is dead. Yeah, so right now I'm not worried about white living after my extension, because after I push I can actually descend in Sente, so that's already a losing result for white. So I don't need to worry about kind of even more harsher moves. I'm just going to exchange everything and then attach here to capture the group. And this is why you should always do your life and death, because the more you do, it kind of appears to you this kind of shapes, so you get more intuition in, and yeah, it's not really a matter of reading every move, but actually it actually helps with a lot of intuition. Yeah. But of course, like when you're reading, your intuition's only going to take you so far. I mean, ultimately, it's how accurate you can see the variation
9, 8,
and be able to rule out
7,
the bad
6,
moves
5.
of some variation. Okay, that was it. So nice. Quick win. Actually, I think this player is pretty good, because in the opening, they chose to write Joseki, and on the left side we can actually see that white's reading is actually decent, because he realized that he needed to play here. But I think white might be able to counterattack here, depending on what the corner result is. By the way, this is actually a really nice life and death problem. So if I review button. If I review and let's say something like this happens. What's the result in the corner? I think I will give the answer next time. I think this is a really nice life and death problem. Anyway, next game. So what are we gonna get? I'm hoping for a interesting one. 8. Okay. Double 4-6. Nice. All right. Let's do it. All right. Believe it or not, I just scared away an opponent because of these 4-6 moves. I think this is probably going to be one of my favorite accounts to play on, and I'm extremely curious how far some of these accounts will go. Because I'm probably just really bad at handling some of these. So already we have a 4-4 point, and so he attached. I wonder if I can Hane on the inside. It feels a little too aggressive. So I'm just gonna Hane on this side and connect. So I think this is a fine result, should be. And he's gonna attach again. So I believe this is a good result for black. I mean, he can't really go into the center anymore. And when I invade into 3-3, I also don't really know what he's gonna do. Oh, I need to like get rid of these. So okay, I think I need to stop playing like fast because okay, so here's the story why I kind of like to respond immediately. Playing immediately after your opponent's move is like a big psychological thing. Believe it or not, Go has a lot of psychological tactics, and one of which is playing immediately after your opponent's move. So as we play out this fight here, so basically, I'm kind of trying to do two things at once. So this fight is probably not going to end up well for white because black had a lot of stones to begin with, and white is playing against black's wall. So about the psychological thing, when you're like really confident about your move, sometimes some players like to play really quickly, like pretty much almost immediately after their opponent plays. And this, okay, so it's typically not a very good tactic because you can get yourself as well, because playing immediately, not only not spending, like, you're also not spending that much time yourself. So if you get into the trouble because you didn't read enough, then, well, that's your fault. But having said that, it's a common tactic by a lot of players. I mean, maybe some people don't even realize that they're doing it. Okay, so he actually not. This is a really interesting life and death problem again. So I can't really get that center much, but I'm going to continue playing in the corner to see what happens there. So he responded, which means locally I can actually live. Getting the 2-2 point, I can actually make this group alive. And him, okay, he's playing these really quickly, so another, like, this is pretty much the biggest mistake I've seen so far, is people just playing immediately without even thinking about what they're doing or anything. Like, making a ko here, I mean, it's the beginning of the game, so how is he going to have king ko threats? So right now I could either just capture or let him out. So I think I'm going to try to punish this a little more. And I'm going to Atara again. I don't want this group to live too easily. So after he captures, I can extend, which also prevents this group from extending back. So after winning this ko, white basically gains nothing because, well, other than just the ability like to Hane and Hane again, I guess. That's the only benefit here. Isn't this group? What's with this descent? I thought he needed to play this move to ensure living in the corner. But anyway, back to my psychological kind of talk. I find this very interesting because a lot of players do it, and maybe they don't even realize that they're doing it. And I think that's a very interesting part about this game. A lot is going on that you don't even realize sometimes that's happening. So yeah, I think that's really cool. Okay. I don't want him to connect back to the outside of the middle group. And it doesn't matter if my corner dies, so I'm just treating that part kind of lightly. So I can just use these moves as ko-threats. And also, he can't finish the ko in one move. So this is a very famous kind of two-stage ko. Because after white captures, black can actually find another ko threat to capture back. So it's different from the typical direct ko, which is the most common type of ko. So white needs to spend actually 2 more moves even after capturing the ko. But black can actually finish the ko just in one move. And I shouldn't have to mention how heavy this ko is for white, because this is originally a white's corner. And this type of resistance is really futile, since well, any of my further moves will be ko threats. Should I connect, or should I connect there? He actually gave me a choice, which makes it actually a little more difficult. I think I'll connect because it actually reduces the liberty in the middle. And so that's like an example of what I was talking about, because you know, like, they will definitely capture there. So playing immediately, this is actually not just a psychological thing. Actually, this does reduce the thinking time of your opponent. So this is not a purely psychological thing, but people do use it in terms of like their psychological advantage. And some people are quite successful at it. And a lot of like really young kids who are really, really strong, they actually do that. I think they do that more. So as we fight this ko, I don't really need to gain too much on the outside. So I think this is enough. Yeah, so white needs to... It's actually quite a difficult game for white, and he's just letting me do the tiger's mouth cut now. My intention was not to actually capture, but since he haunted, he should have played the empty triangle there. I think that was the only move to escape. And now this is kind of obvious because there's no way for white to surround this very easily. So as long as I can extend some liberties, this is going to be it. And so right now I'm free to play fast, because as long as nothing gets captured, and I'm confident that I can just make some basic shapes, and you know, I've captured this group, and also this ko I can capture back as well. So I've also got that. Okay, so I actually have a lot of options. Okay, I'm just going to block 2. This shape looks kind of dangerous, but there's nothing white can do. When white cuts, black can just block on the outside. And that doesn't really do much. I wanted to connect because it actually avoids a sente move here, which I'm hoping will help with the left side, but I guess that doesn't really matter too much. Okay, so at this point I just have no idea what to do because everything is kind of dead. So I think I will fight the ko a little bit and just try to defend. So I guess at this point the game is pretty much done, and nothing too much to kind of fight over.
Yoyomi now starts.
But yeah, let me know, like, if you guys have played someone before that kind of uses these tactics. I find that really interesting, and so when you have these tactics and you're playing an opponent, some of these are kind of on they're kind of on the border of, you know, politeness, especially like when you're playing someone in person. I've definitely played a lot of players that I really just hate playing, and to think about kind of Go etiquette, it's kind of different from what you normally think about. So, okay, what am I trying to get at here? Okay, I guess I'm just like kind of trying to keep talking while playing, but there isn't like a solid borderline between someone who is really impolite, they're just making noises, coughing, whatever, and trying to win, compared with someone, for example, maybe getting up just at the right times, or doing movements just at the right time, so that their opponent is affected. Just some things like that.
Yoyomi now starts.
So now this has turned into like a really weird code. And so now white can throw in at any time. Black can also throw in at any time, but black can also reduce the outside liberties and force white to eventually throw in. I definitely didn't need to capture, but this is I probably shouldn't have connected. I should have just kept fighting the ko. Oh, looks like he's making a direct ko already. So it doesn't really matter because I can pretty much gain anything anywhere, and it would be good for me. But it's really heavy for white, so it's going to be different. All right, so
9, 8, 7,
anyway, I don't know. I don't know if
5.
that kind of makes sense. It's been like something that I thought a little bit in my head, and like all of us probably encountered some players that you didn't like how they played against you in terms of like posture or anything like that. Like I've definitely played people who coughed a lot or like to make a lot of movements. Even like breathing heavily can affect your opponent quite a bit in a game. And not obviously, like Go is a competitive mind sport. But there actually isn't any hard rules about things like this. For example, you can really do whatever you want
8,
during a game,
7,
as long as you don't
6,
talk.
5,
Right.
4,
of course, you can't
3,
use
2.
a phone during a game. But I guess everything else is fair game. Okay, so I saved you guys the from actually going all the way to the end. My opponent actually played all the way to the end before they resigned, but good progress here we're making. So let's move on to the next game. Okay, here we go. Which opening is this? Low high Chinese, interesting. So I think last time we played the low Chinese. I'm gonna try with the high Chinese this time. All right, here we go. Reg Chinese. Unfortunately, I got white again, so I'm not sure whether I can do it. All right, let's do it. Let's do a high Chinese this time. Okay. So actually, I think I have two choices still. I think I'll just block on my side for the sake of this style. But I am pretty much one move behind. But nice. I actually got to develop my framework in the upper right corner. This type of invasion is kind of difficult to deal with because it's impossible to kill. So actually these two are relatively good moves. So I'm curious what he's going to do next. These are probably not good moves because it helps white too much without any immediate benefit. He's actually going to try to capture my stone, which I think is pretty outrageous because this was originally my side. But I'll be happy with the Panuki here. So it looks like black has kind of gotten away with it a little bit, but getting Panuki here, I'm pretty happy with. And also, he gave away a lot on the upper side. So, wow, this 3-dan is playing very well, let's say. Not gaining too much in the opening. And he's playing very, very fast. Like, 2 second go. I think I need to connect these two groups. Don't want black extending up here. Okay, I wouldn't be surprised if this was partially an AI, but because he's playing really fast, maybe he's just a fast player. Maybe he's a really good 3-dan. So, relocation. Alright, so I'm gonna have to think a little more about answering to this move. Yeah, this can't be a regular 3-dan. It's hard to believe. Okay. Okay, so he blocked there though, which let me connect back. Oh, I can't get that exchange. I should have saved that stone. Yeah, I should have just closed. Okay, I really regret that move now. Oh wait, he connected. So I can still do what I was planning on doing. Yeah, I think I can just net this, since I can get Sente here. Yeah, this is definitely not a 3-dan. AI. Which makes this interesting, because I need to beat him. I should probably stop and think a little more, too. Okay. He's playing really, really quick, and the moves are pretty good. So I am very, very suspicious. But these moves weren't very good. and I'm not sure why. They're kind of different, but you can tell kind of by the pace of Black's moves. They're very, very fast, and they're very precise. And most of these moves are really good moves. But I think after these moves, White is slowly gaining the lead. But wow, this is a really good 3-dan. Highly suspicious though. Yeah, got that ladder. I don't need the ladder actually. What am I doing? Wow. What is with all these moves? Yeah, these strategies are really good. Like this type of move, I don't think this is a typical 3-dan. Like after playing these accounts, this is definitely not typical 3-dan. Although some of these are not working, but wow. And we're really speeding through this game. feels like KG has 10 seconds. Really feels like KG has 10 seconds. Yeah, maybe he just played really well, actually. Like, these moves are probably not AI moves. Maybe I'm overly suspicious, aren't I? So actually, there is a reason for this. I've been playing on Fox for a while, and there's just so many AIs around 8 and 9 down area. It's just really annoying, because when you encounter one, you pretty much immediately lose. At least I do. So yeah. By the way, if you're wondering, I have some games actually, and it's because my recorder broke. So I thought I was recording, but I didn't have the footage for a lot of the games. So if you see some of my accounts have some progress in it, that's probably why. Wow. This is like one of the fastest games, I think. That was like 5 minutes. Something like, okay, it was probably a bit longer than that, but but in the beginning, Black played really good moves. Even though some of these were kind of fast, but for example, this attachment, I thought he would most definitely extend. But actually connecting back was a really good choice, because after connecting back, these are two weak groups, and reduce White's influence up there. And after that, like, these moves were also really good, because, I mean, maybe that move wasn't as good, because I think the lower right corner is bigger. But after that, Black gave up the corner quickly and protected. So maybe that move was also not as good. But I think this is a really good 3-dan. Really put up a good fight, and until was really what happened on the left side which would put Black a little bit behind. But really, I think I should reflect on this game, because yeah, my opening wasn't that good. But anyway, let's take a draw for the next game. And that will be the first game for the next video. Oh wow, I'm continuing on Reg Chinese. Okay, here we go. So, hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, give me a like, and I will see you next time.